Hi there, this podcast is The Good,
Gay,
and the Gorgeous.
and we're here to talk about, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I brought to the table as what I wanted to discuss was anime, because I feel like it's the underappreciated entertainment medium, at least it is in my house.
I don't think so. I don't think it's underappreciated.
It's underappreciated in my house, and this is why I wanted to talk about it, because I am obsessed with it. I watch anime all the time. I've been watching Inuyasha religiously over the past week, and Zach is absolutely abhorrently against it. He will sit down, he will watch like a couple of like scenes, cannot do anything but comment on how bad the dialogue.
He doesn't like any anime?
Is. No, he does not like anything that he has ever seen. He won't even try it, and that just frustrates me.
He just hasn't seen the right thing yet,
I guess.
Okay, Michael, what about you? What did you bring to the table today?
I wanted to talk about Sherry Pie from season 12, happening right now of RuPaul's Drag Race.
I've heard disqualification.
And yes, and just all the drama that's happening with that since the show's still on right now.
Okay. I wanted to talk about Aaron Rodgers' possible beef with the Green Bay Packers.
What's that?
And he's the gay one.
Yes, he was the gay one who brought that.
Oh,
topic.
fuck! We need to just say who we are for the first episode.
I think it's been
Do
pretty
we?
obvious so far.
I think we all know.
We know.
Who's who?
Yeah, okay.
Who's the who?
I'll accept this.
Who's who of Whoville?
But no, yeah,
Skip right over that.
with the Green Bay Packers just drafted another quarterback, and there's possible beef going on, and I think it's interesting.
And is Aaron Rodgers the current quarterback
Yes.
of the Green Bay Packers?
Yes.
Okay, so
Do you know what
beef-
state the Green Bay Packers come from?
I do know it. I know it. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Hold on, because my...
Okay, north, south, east, west.
Oh, it's north.
Okay.
There you
I
go.
know that it's north.
Yeah.
Zach has a...
What colors are they?
It's green and yellow, isn't it?
Okay.
Yes.
Like,
you're good.
Let's
You're
see.
going.
You just need to tell us the
I
state
know.
to pass the test.
I know. I can't think of it. Green Bay what?
We'll come back to you.
Dang it!
All right, go ahead, Clayton.
Well, okay.
No, tell me where it's from.
Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, I
There you go.
never would have gotten that. Absolutely never would have gotten there.
Okay, so then now we're going to take it to a vote. What will be discussed today?
I'm not necessarily gung-ho on talking about Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay
Oh,
Packers.
really? What?
Considering
Why
I can't
not?
even locate the team on a map. But,
Well, you can't rotate the team for so many places.
I mean,
Well, that's the whole
like-
point.
I know. So give me a week to think about it, and then we can circle back to it maybe later once I've had a chance to read up on it.
Sure.
Let's see how it is.
Okay. So but like I don't want to vote it down. So let's do a vote on Aaron Rodgers. I vote no.
I vote either way. I don't care.
You've got to be the deciding
Oh,
vote.
deciding vote no. I think we have
so-
better topics this week.
Okay, so then now, do we want to talk about anime? I vote no.
I vote yes. I would be okay with talking about
I vote no because I want to talk about
it. Okay.
I
Okay, that's
feel
fine
like-
because I would vote yes to talk about Sherry Pie.
I vote no to anime only because Clayton has not seen enough anime to have like a full, well-rounded conversation
What do you mean?
on the topic of anime. You've seen 2 animes.
And one of them is just about boobs. It's fine.
What?
High School DxD is just nothing but just boobs.
So it is Doki Doki Literature Club.
No, it's
That's a
ridiculous.
fucking dating simulator, isn't it?
No. It's High School DxD is like the original reason to watch it is for boobs, but the plot actually got interesting, and I watched all 3 seasons.
I don't think it was because of the plot.
I
feel like that was
I
the
think
bulk
we
reason
just
why.
need to introduce you to some other anime
You
before we
can't
can
keep-
really talk about it.
Yeah,
You can't
that's
keep
fine.
being the good if you're just going to keep lying like this.
No, it's not a lie, legitimately.
Name change coming soon.
Name change.
All right, so then we're talking about
The gross.
Sherry Pie.
Sherry Pie.
We're talking about the gross.
She's
Sherry Pie.
my Sherry Pie.
She's my
So
Sherry
I
Pie.
want to preface though, because I know you don't know
Yes.
anything about what happened. So on the show, what did they find out before?
They found out after they found out before the season aired, but they found
Right.
out after it was filmed.
Because every episode, at the beginning of the episode, they have like a disclosure that
Yes.
says like,
Sherry Pie has been disqualified
Yeah.
from the competition in light of recent allegations against her.
Allegations. So do we need
So
a trigger
I'm gonna-
warning?
I don't think so. I'm
Okay.
gonna try and keep it as like
Okay,
baseline
I don't
as
know. It's just
possible.
allegations. I don't know who this person is.
I just didn't want to like fuck it up, so I'm gonna like read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of. But
Okay.
basically, so Sherry Pie was accused of being a fake casting director and was trying to convince aspiring actors to like send him like photos or suggestive videos of themselves. And I guess like when it came to light, he issued an apology and basically like admitted to doing it. And so he's currently on this season of Drag Race, but they like had to edit out a lot of the scenes with him and like everything to minimize him being on the show. But it wasn't fair to cancel the whole show because of all the other queens.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a question. Like, what is this? What is the point of taking him out? Because
what he did was wrong.
Well, of course, but you can acknowledge that and say the whole time like this person's a POS,
right?
But you don't have to.
Here's the main issue as far as Sherry is concerned in regards to the competition is that before they actually aired this season, they had to go back and they had to redo a lot of the footage that they had already edited for the show,
right?
Because Sherry, even though it doesn't come across right now, it kind of seems as we're watching that Sherry's mostly coasting as the season. Like, she's doing very well and she's very smart. But at the same time, it's still one of those things where she hasn't been really focused on too much. So she kind of
they don't have her in like the cut to like her talking to the camera about what happens in this episode.
They don't have a lot of her interviews. They don't have a lot of her segments. They have none of her features. And the reason for that is because the way that they had edited the first, what they originally intended to air, and this is from what I heard from a friend who knows a little bit more about how the show was put together and about how it was edited, and he kind of keeps up with all the Reddit posts, so who knows whether or not it's true or not, but...
Oh, Reddit.
I know. Apparently, the way that the season was edited, Sherry was the clear, obvious, definite, no bars held winner.
Well, and that's what I thought...
It's the way that it's being presented now. As we're watching the season now, the editors have done everything they can to put her in the background, and yet she's still doing well.
Yeah, because even like just watching it now, you're still like, well, she just has this in the bag.
Okay, so as someone who is not a avid Drag Race watcher, can we explain
it does not compute
to me at least the structure of the competition and how like you can how do you win? How?
It essentially. Did you ever watch any season of America's Next Top Model?
Okay, why would you ask that?
No, the answer to that question is.
I'm sorry. There's hot girls that are on America's Next Top Model. I don't know if you ever just stayed on the channel while they were doing a swimsuit shoot.
I'd never even go across the channel.
Okay. So essentially, the way that it is structured is that I think it's 13 girls, 13 or 14 girls, end up getting selected by RuPaul to,
they have to send in like a casting video of like why they should be on the show. Like most reality TV shows.
Because producers are very heavy-handed in the selection process, of course.
Well, producers are heavy-handed in the whole show.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So these girls, they come in and they compete to be America's Next Drag Superstar. And what it is on a daily basis, there are mini challenges that will give you, if you win the mini challenge of the day, it gives you a leg up on the main challenge.
You also win like money.
Yeah, you can win
drag stuff.
You can win a gift card to like Wigs and Grace. You can win
it could be anything.
Wigs and Grace, are you serious?
Wigs and Grace, yes.
Oh my god, I need to get on the show.
Okay. But essentially they judge
Queen's here for the wigs.
They judge the challenge, and then they also judge the runway. They're given a theme for this week's runway, and they are supposed to execute that runway to the best of their ability, as well as perform well in the challenge. They are judged by a panel of judges on how well they did both. And then you get the tops and the bottoms of the week. So you get the tops and the bottoms of the week. And
then that sounds like it's a little pervasive of gay culture, does it not? Like it sounds like it's being a little derogatory.
It's on the nose.
It's on the nose because let's also I think that it has
why is it a negative to be a bottom? What if I'm just
it's
I'd be offended.
It's not necessarily. It's
God.
Just one of those things that it's I'm losing where I'm going with that because I don't know.
Well, I mean,
why it's negative.
what do you want to know about the show? Like, we don't need to explain it all if you like don't care.
Well, I am interested.
No, essentially,
I just don't understand why the negative is
because it's all a reference back to gay culture and things that make up the gay community. Everything has like a connection or correlation to something that is relevant in the gay culture. And even though it's not necessarily ever perceived, even though it is on the show perceived to be bad, to be in the bottom, it's not necessarily.
It's not referencing like bottoms are bad.
Yeah, it's not. Okay. It's not supposed to be like that. It's all just quick, a tongue in cheek.
It's quick quibs. It's nothing.
It's just fun.
Yeah, the whole show is puns
it's just funny. And so the two people or the group that are in the bottom end up getting a little bit more feedback from the judges
of why they're in the bottom.
Of why they're in the bottom and what they need to do to improve. And then the bottom two of that week, whoever the two that did the worst, have to lip sync for their lives against one another. And whoever puts out the most
does the best show.
Yeah. Who does the best lip sync, does the best moves.
So that's what I've always seen. So that's always people who are losing.
Those are always people that are losing.
So then what's the like is the runway thing just them walking out in whatever outfits they have on?
It's what the theme is, and that can also like if they really, really love the outfit you made or whatever, especially if they've given you critiques before, like, you always come out in a bodysuit, Miss Vanjie.
Miss Vanjie. But that's the thing, is that, like, your runway can either can save you in the challenge, or it can kill you.
Oh, okay.
So if you do really, really bad in the challenge and then you walk out onto the runway with some half-assed garment, like, they will judge you for it.
It's bad too. Like, Sherry Pie has never been in the bottom.
I can't remember.
She's never had to lip sync. Actually, I think she has.
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
I can't look it up. Let us know, guys, in the comments.
We'll do a corrections corner.
We'll do a correction next week if we have to.
But I think, like, for me, it bothers me a lot because she clearly is doing so well that it's like I have to like remind myself when I'm watching it, like, this is a terrible, terrible fucking person.
And that's the problem, is that, like,
because what she's showing, she like seems so like amazing.
Yeah, well, of course. It's a bunch of.
It's a performance, but it's.
But that's the problem, and it's hard to edit down somebody who is very talented and who is very good at what she does. Because despite, this might be a little controversial, but despite what she has done, she is still a very smart, very talented, and very gifted drag queen.
Yeah,
and it's like very hard to edit that out, because she was half-assed, if she was sloppy, I don't think the editors would have had such a difficult time re-editing the season, because from what I heard, comparing the way that she
never
was
been
featured,
at the bottom. I just looked it up.
The way that she was featured before in the original, I guess, edit of the season, it was very much like a Bianca Del Rio situation where you just knew that there was no one that was going to beat her. You don't really know what that means, but it's still like the way that they had to redo it has painted her into the background, but she's still doing well, just not as obviously.
So it's kind of like, so if I were to make like a real life correlation to this, right? Like, kind of sounds like a little bit like the whole Harvey Weinstein situation in a way. Because like he's sitting there making good movies the whole time, but he's a piece of shit that everyone knows about.
Yes, and I need to give to Harvey Weinstein that he was an actual casting director. I think Sherry Pie was actually like pretending to be a casting director. Not that it makes it any less or worse.
She was just trying to pull Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So she was convincing these men that she, could get them the role, could get them into this position, could get them into whatever part they wanted if they sent her pictures or came over and did stuff and like.
So why do we think
That's wild.
Do we think the only reason why it became such a big deal was because of the fact that he was on RuPaul's Drag Race?
I think so, because
there's nothing you can do about the fact that the more famous you get, the more people are going to just dig into your history.
But I think at the same time, for people that are survivors of situations like that kind of feel some type of way about experiencing that, it's very some people do have the strength to be like, okay, it's out of sight, not necessarily out of mind, but it's not as hard.
Or they don't want to talk about it and they don't
Yeah.
have to live through like
And like, let's say
that.
they knew Sherry Pie was a drag performer and, you know, worked in the town where they lived or something like that. They don't have to go to the bars that she's, you know, working in.
Mhm.
They can avoid her. But now RuPaul's Drag Race has been this beacon of goodness, has been this beacon of, you know, a place where everyone is accepted and everyone is loved and everyone can be who they want to be. And a lot of people that are looking for that have found peace and solace in the show. And maybe some of those people that are trying to feel that way now have that image of RuPaul's Drag Race tainted by the fact that Sherry is on there. They
I don't
can't
think it'll
avoid
last
her.
long though, because things never seem to last long at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the news cycles last like 3 hours nowadays.
Yeah,
Well,
which
for
is
us.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
So it sucks that like there's not going to be enough retribution to the person. But, you know, like
I do find it very interesting as far as...
Well, I think it's killed Sherry Pie's career.
Oh, I definitely think it's killed it.
I don't think there's a comeback.
I've heard some opposing opinions on it, not necessarily ones that I completely agree with. One that I'm on the fence on is how the fact that you know what you know about Sherry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what you know what's been told, you know what's been said, you know what she said, in regards to everything. And the fact that the way that they're editing her in the season is not necessarily painting her in a bad light or anything. It's just painting her into the background, which is almost more mysterious, which makes her almost more intriguing.
Because well, every
so
time she's on the screen, you just think about what she's done.
But you don't. You just said that a minute ago, how like it's hard watching her.
Well,
because
no, I mean,
it's so hard to hate what she's doing on TV.
I love, like, she is an amazing artist, and like I love that. But at the same time, every time I look at her, it's like it's so unfortunate that you basically, like, you could have been.
You used that great talent and that great ability and that brain to hurt people rather than.
I mean, you could technically argue that, like, okay, well, let's just like play a scenario out.
But these are also allegations that are pending. But the fact that he apologized and said he made mistakes makes me think, like, okay, if you didn't do it, then why would you even?
Well, that's and that's the other thing I was going to bring up is, like, do you think that Sherry deserves any sort of, I guess,
forgiveness?
I don't want to say like take it easy on her, because that's not okay. But do you think that she could have taken that? She could have taken the allegations. She could have taken those rumors. No, not rumors, but she could have taken what was being said and just denied them, like so many, many people do, like we've seen before, where people just deny, and you know that they're lying, and they get away with it, and it's a huge injustice on the person who's suffering. But like there's nothing that we can do about it.
And a presidential candidate.
But it's weird because, like, what if you are a person, like, what if you're Sherry, right? Sherry?
Yes.
Sherry, yes.
What if you're Sherry and, like, let's say that she doesn't think she did this.
Okay.
But why would you apologize for it?
Right, but that's the crazy part, is the PR of the situation demands that you apologize for it, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But you're apologizing for people accusing you. You're not, like, some people apologize just because someone's accusing them.
But I think, like, they tell you if you're, like, in trouble with the law, never to admit anything, no matter what, or apologize. Because by apologizing, it makes you seem like you did do something wrong because you're apologizing.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, you could be, like, it's just like what he's saying. You could say, like, maybe she's out there apologizing so that people take it easier on her because she didn't actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't think
you could seem harder and seem like a worse person for just saying, no, I didn't do this.
Either way, I think people are going to hate you.
I don't think it's really going to matter at the end of the day, because as much credit as victims should get as far as, like, being believed in things like that, there are still situations where the person who is being accused didn't think that they were doing anything wrong.
Right.
Yes.
They truly didn't believe that it was. They truly did believe that it was consensual. They didn't think that what they were doing was hurting somebody else. Now, I'm not saying that that is the case in Sherry's, situation.
Probably not. Yeah, exactly.
And I also do not think that Sherry believes that she didn't do this and is just apologizing to make it look better for PR. I think that she knew whenever the accusations came out that there was no way that she was ever going to be able to prove that it didn't happen.
Mhm.
Right.
So she sat there and she went, you know what? I'm going to admit to what I did wrong. I'm going to face whatever comes from that. And I'm going to continue to live.
Right.
And not necessarily like, oh, it's no big deal, but
Yeah.
like instead of choosing to deny it and spin it or turn it back on the victim or bring that out or anything like that, she just went, I did do that. I'm very, very sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's interesting how you can be a shitty person and then you can be a gracefully shitty person.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, and it's one of those things where it's like, do you think that response, that reaction was a good reaction? Do you think that that's enough? Like, what, in the grand scheme of things, nothing will ever really be enough of an apology.
No.
Nothing is ever going to make it okay, but how do you come back from something like this? Like, how do you
don't.
But like, how do you? What is the next step? Like, what do they just
for Sherry or for the show or? For
well, not for the show. The show is already taking a lot of responsibility for re-editing the season. I knew right away whenever they posted the fact that Sherry Pie will not be appearing from the finale and has been disqualified.
Yeah.
If she had gone home like the second week, they would have been like, "Oh, just wait, it's fine."
Well, I think it
Like-
also, if she had not been such a great competitor,
Yeah,
it would have been so much easier to just take her out or be like,
yeah,
well, she sucks anyway, so
yeah.
that's what she gets.
But they knew that she did very well, and they knew that they were. I think before the season even aired, they already knew that they were going to be who was going to be the winner, and I think it was going to be Sherry.
I'm sure it was.
But the crazy thing is, like, as a show, right?
Yes.
Would you sit here? Because, like, this is interesting. I think it could.
I thought he would say that about Drag Race.
Right.
See how you get into it, don't you?
Well,
It's the drama.
What's interesting to me, though, is, like, we could sit here and we could say that we could make a valid argument that putting her more in the background, making her more mysterious has just made people more interested in her.
Yeah.
Like, that is an argument, right? And so what if we just would have said, okay, leave everything as it is, even, like, let's run a crazy scenario and say that she fucking won, right? Let's run that
That's
scenario.
not a crazy scenario, though.
Let's run it and say that they show it.
Now that would be a great spectacle that would get so many views.
And then they show her, hey, you won. And then they cut to, hey, guess what? She didn't. She's a piece of shit. We've said she's a piece of shit the whole time. This person actually wins because they're a decent person.
Wouldn't it have been better, though, if they had, like, said, oh, you did win, Sherry, but because of these, like, on the actual show, because of these allegations,
right,
runner-up wins.
You know what I'm saying?
Live on the show.
But here's the thing: is that I think spectacle-wise,
wouldn't it be fabulous?
Well, I mean,
spectacle-wise, yes, I think that would have been fabulous. But I think that
they could not have done it.
No, I think that would have been a tasteless
absolutely.
capitalization on
what?
I think it would have been tasteless to capitalize on something like that. It would have been tasteless to be like, okay, how are we going to spin this to where we can still we don't have to re-edit anything. We're going to keep her in the top. We're still going to hand her the crown.
I mean,
and then we're just going to rip it away from her.
Their hands are tied behind their back.
What if we just did the thing where we just show the episode as she's won and then cut? Guess what? This person is a very pure piece of shit. Here's a couple of numbers.
I think why they didn't do it that way is because this happened before
the footage actually started to air.
So it made sense for them to add that in.
Maybe.
I don't think so, because, like, here's the thing. The finale is shot with the final two.
Yeah.
It's shot with each of them winning.
Yeah, there was a tie. There was supposed to be a tie of Shangela and Trixie. Like, none of them know who wins until after. And they actually, like,
I think all the winners are, like, out at some sort of bar or something like that, and they're watching live because even they don't know what is going to be aired.
Oh, so that's the structure.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they can give it away ahead of time.
So then, what if we just said, like, hey, this is the person who is supposed to win. Guess what? As we've told you throughout the entire season, this is a shitty person. Boom. This person doesn't win, and this is the real life consequences of being a shitty person. Here are a bunch of numbers for survivors. here's the
Well, but
person
I
who
think
actually deserved to win because they're a decent
I think by adding that opening credit, it reminds everyone every time they watch it.
Right.
This is a
You know
shitty
what I'm-
person.
you know
Just
what
a
I'm saying?
reminder.
I think that he's saying you keep all of that in. You still crown Sherry, but then take it away
No,
from
I don't think
her.
you can.
Well, I'm saying don't even edit her mysteriously anymore. Let her be part of the show.
But then it would have been a
part of
sweep,
everything.
I think. It would have just been a sweep of
Mhm.
her winning all the time, being amazing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and that's the other thing is I just think
it's just
that
weird. I don't know.
It just sucks because she is
they
good
talked
drag
about
queen.
they talked about reshooting the entire season.
But they
Yeah.
felt
They
it was unfair.
Yeah, they
to
talked
all the
about bringing
girls.
all of the queens back, every single one. And
Would you do it?
again.
Would you go
I
back
do it?
again? Like, say you were on it that first time, and then they have
Not
to.
if I had done well.
Well, no. So you wouldn't go back again to redo everything.
If I had done well, no.
Well, I mean, the big problem with
Because
that
here's the
is-
thing: is that so many people, and like this is something that happens with Drag Race, is that there are so many stars
Yes.
that are the first to go home or do horribly, and after the show, they just get it. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
they just suddenly
I feel
get
like by
what it is.
even just going on the show, you automatically.
So
are.
for instance, like in my opinion, competing against Nikki Doll
Mhm.
like this season was a little bit easier than people probably thought it was going to be. But now
Yeah.
that she's not on the show and she's had time to kind of watch the episodes and reflect and maybe like go, oh man, I should have done that. Like, and you can see Heidi doing it all season.
I love that.
Heidi is sitting there and she's watching and she's like, oh, I didn't think of that. That would have been so good.
So wait, hold on. You're telling me that this show has a comeback mechanic?
Sometimes there have been where they bring girls back.
So it's kind of like The Bachelor in that way.
Kind of. But like,
I've actually never seen a single episode of The Bachelor or Bachelorette,
I
and I
not
never
either.
will.
I have not either.
I've seen
I
a
can't
show
do it.
of. I've seen The Bachelorette.
Okay, so you
I-
have seen a reality TV show.
You lied.
I've seen 2 episodes of it.
Did you watch Survivor?
Nope.
What's the other one that everyone loves?
Fear
Big
Factor?
Brother, Fear Factor,
I
Big
didn't
Brother,
know. Nope.
any of those? I've never
I
seen
never watched any of those.
One of the guys from not Fear Factor, one of the contestants from Big Brother used to come into Blatt, the restaurant I worked at, all the
Mhm.
time.
Whoa!
We're gonna have to beep out that name.
I didn't give a name.
You said Blatt. You thought it was a restaurant name?
You said the restaurant name.
Blatt?
Yes.
Why do I have to bleep that out?
Just because we don't want people being able to track you.
I don't work
doesn't
there
work
anymore.
there.
It's fine. Anyway,
I would be
Okay.
more
continue.
concerned for the Big Brother star. They would go to him. He's hot. He's very hot.
Well,
guess
I
so,
think
maybe.
this also
I follow him on Insta.
reminds me of how
Let me see. Let me see if he's actually hot.
Hmm?
this reminds me of I think an overall reminder that you kind of have to think sexual assault victims don't always want to come forward because
Mhm.
then they have to relive it.
Yeah.
And I think keeping that in mind is super important in this because I
Always.
think they're being forgotten at the same time.
Right.
How unfortunate.
No one
He got-
cares about him,
he got
Aaron.
engaged
You gotta
Oh,
engage.
how
is
dare
that
he.
unfortunate?
because it's to a woman. Here you go.
Okay, which one is it?
Is that a surprise?
He's the one in the middle? Okay, I'll give it to you. He's got a chiseled face. He's attractive.
He used to come in.
This
Come
is
in
like
where?
a Brad or Chad.
He is.
Chad Brad.
He's just.
Chad Brad.
He's a clay.
Well, there you go.
Uh-oh.
That's the third brother. Chad Brad and Clay.
And his second toe's bigger than his first toe.
Why do you know
That is
that?
the
Do you have a foot
strangest thing I've
fetish?
ever heard.
Huh?
How do we feel about those?
Foot fetishes?
Yes.
Gross. No, thank you.
Fetishes are
If somebody
an entirely
came up
different
to you-
story.
If somebody came up to you and offered you $200 to take a picture of your foot,
Yes.
Oh, are you
and you know they're going to go home and masturbate to it,
Yes.
don't care. Easy. Done. I would start
Yes.
OnlyFans with my feet. 1,000%.
I think you should. Let's
Sure
get
you
that
could,
going.
as little
OnlyFans.
as you watch them.
Oh.
Trust them daily, sir.
Do you
Do you
wash
know
them,
some
or do you
people
just let
don't
the
wash-
suds, rolled out on
I
them?
scrub, bro.
Okay.
Do you know some people don't wash their legs?
That's
In the shower?
gross.
I
They
could
just
never.
let the soap run down?
Honestly, the only body part that I have a hard time washing is the middle of my back. That's it.
Well, I feel like a lot of people have a hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that's unusual.
That's normal.
Yeah. That's it.
Choosing not to bend down to wash your legs.
Yeah. That's terrifying.
I had to get on Zach for that. Because he would wash his legs, he just would never wash his feet. And I was like,
Oh my.
yes. And I was like, you
Just
need
letting it
to
run
You
down.
gotta scrub a dub those babies.
I was like, you have got to wash your feet. And he was like, no, it's fine. And I was like, no, it is not. I'm like, please wash your feet. And then eventually, guess what now? He started washing his feet. He's obsessed with it now. And he got himself one of those little pumice stones.
Those are
those are
amazing.
awesome, dude. Those are awesome. They get a scrub-a-dub-dos, those little piggies, the space in between your toesies.
Okay, you really wanted to say scrub-a-dub-dub like so many times.
I know, right?
So all in all, I think you should watch the next season of Drag Race with us.
I think you absolutely should.
I
think you should
think
watch
you'd enjoy
6
it.
with us.
I
With
mean, I
Bianca.
love that.
You would love Bianca.
I could attempt it.
You would enjoy it.
But here's the problem. I started watching The Bachelor at one time.
That's completely different.
With my friend and his girlfriend, and I legit hated it because I said, okay, that person was just riled up by the producer. That's just a bunch of fake BS. I'm walking away. Like, I got tired of it.
Was it because like 15 different super attractive girls were all fighting over one man who was acting like it was very difficult for him?
Wait, hold on. Can we talk about how that was totally just a man-made concept? Like, a man just sat down and thought, let me have 15 women fight over me and I at least get to fuck 6. Like, can we talk about how that was totally a male-generated
We need to talk about a much better version of this show.
No.
We need to talk about a much better version of this show.
Yes,
we do. Of The Bachelor. What is it?
I won't speak on it.
What's it called? It's with the guy from Poison or White Snake.
What?
Rock of Love or something.
What? I thought you were going to say something else.
I thought you were talking about that stupid show on Netflix.
Rock of Love with Bret Michaels.
Bret Michaels. Oh my god, I forgot about him.
What is that?
Isn't he the one who had the aneurysm?
I don't know. I don't
At
care.
some point?
It's so bad. It is so
shocker. Bret
bad.
Michaels.
It is absolutely. I watched the first 2 episodes with my friends the other day, and I genuinely could not take my eyes off of the screen. Not because it was quality, but because it literally probably was the most unbelievably awful show. All of the girls that were on there look horrid. Like, I'm not kidding.
Like genuinely unattractive, or they just look bad to a gay guy?
I don't think that I'm pretty positive that if you actually like got some good lighting and videography and stuff in there and like good makeup artists and costumers, like it would be good. But the way that they were trying to sell these girls, like Bret Michaels walks out and looks at this lineup and he was like, oh man, these are some of the hottest girls I have ever seen. And I'm like, do you watch TV? Like you're a rock. It's like you're a rock star. You go on the road and come across millions of women, and these are the 13 that you're obsessed with.
If you like Bret Michaels, you're probably not
go on this.
The best.
Was it Whitesnake?
If it's Bret Michaels.
Okay, so Garrett knows about that. Okay, now we feature our guest judge for the week, Garrett. No, literally, it's just so horrible. Like, the very first episode is, like, all the girls get to the house, and Bret Michaels' bouncer comes out and, like, tells them why they're there, tells them that he's looking for love, and that, you know, they're going to select the girls who can go in to the house and basically get comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very start, I think his name's Big John is like his
Big John.
Big John is like his bodyguard, but he looks and he starts pointing out. I think he handpicks like 5 or 6 girls, and all of them are like, "Oh, I get to go meet Bret right away. Like I get to go. Like I immediately
Here's
get to
the
go
thing.
in."
Who is watching the show? Is it older housewives?
Literally me and my 2 friends.
What is it on?
Yeah, what is this on?
I can't remember. I'll have to text and ask them.
I can't believe
I think it's like VH1 or something. I don't know.
Probably.
But
VH1.
he hand selects like these 6 girls and he tells them, your journey ends here. You don't get backstage.
Your
like
journey
they
ends
literally
here.
get sent home before they even get in the house.
Away.
But that's so crazy, man. Like, and how did we get, like, legitimately, like, with that show, like, I'm still boggled that there is a show that women are insanely on board with, where it's just 15 of them fighting over one dude.
Well, because they can make a career out of being on that show if they give themselves enough personality.
Well, yeah, but, like, I understand, like, why you would want to be on the show, but how, as a viewer, do you find
Some
that
people
entertaining?
like it.
I love watching a good fight.
Yeah,
I
the cat
guess.
fight.
I guess.
And here's the thing, is like, even though you don't immediately realize that you're doing it, every time that you look at a group of people, you are comparing them and judging them and ranking them.
Yeah.
Damn.
You are.
Yeah,
every single
100%.
time that you look at somebody, you are drawing comparisons, you're drawing parallels, you are instantly going, like, you know, boobs a little small, butt's a little big, you know, his arms aren't as big as I would want them to be. Like, you are instantly going like, okay, this person looks good, but do they look as good as what I've seen before?
It boils down to, all of these shows have the same thing in common. You get to judge.
Yeah. You get to judge
based
somebody
on
else.
these tiny snippets of this person.
And you get to be super mad whenever your judgment is wrong.
Because you automatically want to root for somebody that you can connect with.
And then
that's the whole point of like
person
those
gets
shows.
Sent home, and you're like, they made a horrible decision sending that person home.
Maybe. I don't know. I've just personally never gotten it, but that's just me.
Reality TV.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch The Apprentice?
Oh my god.
I did not watch The Apprentice. Thank God.
When did it get canceled?
Think about people who are big fans of that show. Think about somebody
Some
who
people still love
that show, and then you're just seeing this train wreck happening in front of you.
I think
I'm pretty sure the
awkward.
people who loved that show are the ones who are standing outside right now with loaded assault rifles, acting like they're oppressed.
I feel like it's actually normal people, dude. I feel like some normal people.
I don't know
love
a normal
The
person who loved The Apprentice.
I will agree. I think a lot of like middle America people love shows like
The Apprentice and now hate what's going on,
and including here.
Do you know what I actually enjoy as a reality TV show? My Secret Boss or Undercover Boss.
Oh, Undercover Boss. Yeah, I tried to watch that and I just can't get into. I'm not really. I don't really watch that much reality TV.
I've watched zero, so
people are more surprised that I've never seen any of the Housewives episodes.
I will say this: The Housewives has the best memes of all time.
I believe it.
And at this point, though, the episodes are all exactly the same plotline every single time.
Yeah,
probably.
But the original, like Real Housewives, like the original ones, are really good.
Yeah.
If you like reality TV, then yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
middle-aged women.
That puts a button on us talking about Sherry.
Yeah, it really does.
Right. We literally.
Well, I think we talked like about the main thing that was really driving it.
100%.
Yeah. I think I would like to know more about it. I would like to know like what people that are listening or what other people have to say. Did RuPaul put out a
statement? Like, I want him to like speak about it because he's their mother, like their drag mother, in quotes.
Yeah. Wait, hold on, that's a thing.
Yes. But anyways, like the point is,
we'll get into all of this.
I feel like he never comes out and actually says anything.
He doesn't necessarily have to.
I think in this instance he should. It's his show.
Yeah, but if
it's called RuPaul's Drag Race,
yeah, but if the show itself gave a statement, then he gave a statement.
I think that like the producers speak on behalf of him almost because like even though it's like a collaborative effort, I'm sure, but like I do think that the decision to re-edit as opposed to refilm, the decision to disqualify does have a lot to do with how he feels about the situation. Because notice as well that like to my mind, outside of like actually seeing the runway critiques and stuff like that, you don't really see too much interaction between the two of them on screen.
I will say I cried when he hugged Crystal Method.
I thought that was super cute.
It was adorable, and she needed that. Look at her.
I know. I'm not a big person into like criers on competitions because I just get annoyed with them really quickly.
Hold on. We have to discuss how that's not okay during the COVID-19 epidemic.
Okay, this was before. This was before.
First off, fuck off. No, I mean I'm not like a big cry person either, but like I could just like I felt like I could tell like this was like a big deal.
I loved Crystal's anecdote. How like I think a few weeks ago she was talking about her parents and how supportive and wonderful and like on board with drag they were, and how they would go to garage sales or antique stores and they would find things that they would like be like, oh my god, this would be perfect for Crystal's act, and they would be so supportive of her and her career. Well, not just that, but then this past week Crystal was talking about how her parents voted for Trump, and that's a difficult portion of their relationship about how they were able to vote for him, and they still apparently stand by the decision. And what I loved about it was the fact that a couple of weeks ago we were also moved by how supportive Crystal's family is, and
people are multifaceted.
Yeah, and that's what I loved, is that you got to see not just the fact that these people love and support their son and her career and all this stuff. That was a bunch of different pronouns, but like they not only support Crystal and what she is doing as a career and legitimize her through that support, but they're not one-dimensional. That's not all there is to them.
Yeah, exactly.
They are able to be that to her. They're able to be loving, supportive parents and also be Trump supporters.
I think, like, there's only a small majority of Trump supporters who are actually psycho crazy people.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of people that I meet who voted for Trump and continue to support Trump in this sense is because economically he's doing what they want him to do. It has nothing to do with... Yeah, I think a lot of people are that's more important to me than any of the other random crazy shit he says.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. But I understand that, like, hey, economically he is here for us. I mean, if you want to buy into that.
Yeah. That's obviously horseshit. But
I think that's the majority, at least as far as I know, of Trump people are choosing that because
100%.
That's their priority when they vote.
Yeah, is what people like who vote for Trump want is all they want is a reasonably stable economy. Because they know that the rest of the shit doesn't necessarily matter.
Fucked that up, didn't they?
Right.
As they drink their bleach for lunch.
Right. Exactly. But like that's like the priority for a lot of people. Like as long as they can just like go to their job and their day-to-day life isn't affected.
And I don't have a problem with that either. I think like also like we're in the South.
Yeah.
There's more Trump supporters vocally, I think, than probably a lot more of other places. But at the same time, like most of those people you run into are not crazy and they're not wrong.
Right.
As far as like
they're not immoral people.
Yeah, like the South is definitely way more Republican. It's slowly becoming more liberal.
Right.
Because of our generation. Yeah. But I would say I feel like a lot of people think of Republican, they think of the economy and being stable and capitalism.
I love how most of the
liberal
South
is just communist.
Yeah, most of the South has been able to maintain, I feel like, their Republican conservative, hold in the area because so many people that don't think that way or don't believe that way, they've grown up and their immediate thought is, I got to get out of this town. I've got to get, somewhere
else. Or
you
could enact change in your town.
And I think that's what more people are doing now. Is instead of fleeing from the South, big history of that, people are now choosing, no, like I'm not going to be driven out of where I grew up. I'm not going to be driven out of home. This is still my home. It is as much my home as a diehard, bleeding heart, liberal, supportive, gay, whatever. Like it is still my home and it is where I'm going to live and I'm going to have my opinions here and I'm going to have my beliefs here just as much as you are. Yeah. And I'm not going to be driven out for that.
Yeah.
But it's probably easier like living in a big city.
Yeah.
Like here.
I mean, just factually, that's just where more people who lean left are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's more community driven mindsets in big cities. It's more about like how can the city thrive. Well, you're more likely
to interact with people who aren't like you,
right?
Versus somebody who's right, like the nearest Walmart is 100 miles away, or something.
I think that's better too, because like if you move to a place that predominantly everybody thinks the same way you are, you're never going to learn anything, in my opinion.
Which could be said for like people who are super liberal too. Exactly. If you surround yourself with super cringy liberal people,
it's all about like making
you'll never,
It's all about making sure that you don't put yourself in a stupid bubble.
Yeah.
Like there's no
Speaking
point
of stupid bubbles, Sherry Pie is a stupid bubble. She is.
That's my new insult.
You're a stupid bubble.
You're a stupid bubble.
You're a stupid bubble.
And that is as good a time as any to go into the next segment, which is...
What are you talking about?
Positivity
corner. Oh, the positivity corner.
Yes, today is positivity corner.
Yeah. We're going to talk about something that made us happy.
Something
made you happy.
That made us happy?
Yeah, something made you happy, or like you would recommend this for people to do while they're stuck at home.
Yeah, just crisis. Like something like mine.
Anything.
Mine is something funny.
Go ahead.
If you want to laugh, go look at all these fucking amazing big ass baby memes.
Those terrify
me. Are amazing.
That baby is so disturbing.
That baby,
it makes me angry.
That baby is a lineman on the Dallas Cowboys.
That baby makes me angry.
I have no idea what
so
we're talking
large.
about.
Oh, then let me show you.
Baby that like exploded on Twitter basically, and it's like he didn't explode.
Oh, I was.
He got famous on Twitter.
He got really famous on Twitter because of the fact that it is
And
just
he's just the largest
the
thing.
largest child.
Ew!
Isn't it the most disturbing thing?
What did they do to this thing?
Exactly. Don't you just like get angry looking at that?
That is the definition
How
of
old is he?
Who fuck if I know, dude.
I saw a video of him like running and it was terrifying.
I saw a video of him picking up a toy truck.
Yes.
And somebody was like, "This is a real truck. We should be terrified."
It was so. I am not a fan. That is not my positivity. In fact, that is
so
my
funny to
absolute negative.
It's so funny to me. I've been laughing so much at all of these memes.
All right, Aaron.
I mean, I guess my positivity corner for the week, for the week, would be Olive Burger. Olive Burger was my positivity corner of the week.
Having a treat.
Yes.
A burger treat.
We actually ordered Olive Burger.
Yes.
I don't say it very often, which is why it's so difficult for me. We ordered Olive Burger, which I have never had before. I ordered an avocado burger.
And now you're going to eat there all the time. Is that really positive, though?
It's not positive for my waistline, but it was something that was new that I got to try this week that I would highly recommend other people to. The fried pickles were delicious. I actually liked the fried okra, which was surprising to me because normally I don't. But no, I would recommend that to a friend, and cannot wait to go back.
Local Dallas small business.
Yeah, support Dallas business.
Yeah, see, look at me. I'm supporting local businesses.
Okay, we'll put a little spin on it.
What about you, Micah?
Well, I would probably bring mine back to the sherry pie thing. And I will say my positivity thing is the fact that the times we live in now, these things are brought to light and they're addressed, and it's not just dismissed and let go.
Yeah.
And the fact that these victims are being recognized and that this person is being punished, at least to some degree, as far as RuPaul's Drag Race goes. So I think positivity in that sense is like, we're acknowledging it and we're going to address it and we're not going to sweep it under the rug and not let this person get away with that.
Yeah, and another cool thing is it's Me Too for, also men.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Me Too is for anyone.
That's something that I think is a very positive part of this as well.
Right, and that's actually very funny because I didn't even connect that until you just said it. But that's a very good point, is over the fact that people automatically assume that sexual assault is something that can only happen to women, is that it's something that only happens to them. And the Me Too movement is only about, women. Mm-hmm. And it's not. It's anybody can be a victim of sexual assault. Anybody can, get themselves into a situation where they end up experiencing something like that, and people will take advantage of anybody.
Right. And
as far as living in the day and age where these things are getting brought to light and these victims are getting their time and their platform to talk about what has happened to them is incredibly important, and it needs to keep going. As from what I can tell, I think the way that RuPaul's Drag Race has handled this is probably one of the most respectful ways that they could have handled it. I know that everybody doesn't always agree with the way that they do business or they handle certain situations, but after seeing so many of these victims be dismissed and ignored and these predators kind of just be given their limelight, whatever, I think it's nice to actually see somebody who is paying the price for what they did and accepting it.
I agree.
100%.
All right.
And that was an episode of...
That was our very first episode.
The very first episode of The Good,
Gay,
and the Gorgeous
podcast.
See you next week.
Bye.
Yay.